Hey, Run Try Bike community. Welcome to a holiday edition, special edition, November 2024 of our Run Side Chat. Before we get started in what we're thankful for and telling some funny and crazy stories, I want to remind you to go to the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network, wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to subscribe, rate, and review so that we can continue to bring to you these great shows like the Fireside Chat, our Fiery Embers, Beyond the Finish Line, What's in Your Earbuds, Food Fight Friday at the Aid Station, Running Tales, and Caffeinated Coaching. And we probably have some more shows coming for you in 2025. So make sure you subscribe, rate, and review the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network wherever you get your podcasts. And if you watch us on YouTube, subscribe there too so that you get the notices when they come along. Today, I'm going to be joined by Aum, and we're going to talk about Run, Try, Bike. But in addition to that, we're going to have some cameo drop-ins, potentially from Rose, Joe Harden, from Santino, and Scott Sundberg as well. Just want to get our community involved with us. So be on the lookout for those cameo appearances as we go along. And if you're watching us live anywhere, drop us a note to let us know that you want to be on the show, and we'll send the studio link to you. Aum, brother, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. It's been such a wild ride and such a great year. And I'm kind of on a high right now because some of the stories I've heard in the last couple of days, like we were just talking about this in the green room, but the story about Dawn Beaumont, Queen of Hearts ride in Australia, who's gearing up for a duathlon for heart disease, which is the biggest killer of women in Australia, is incredible. And then the day before, I talked to a joggler, which is a run juggler from Edinburgh. It's called joggler apparently, and um, and I didn't tell you about this one, but a sports psychologist I talked to yesterday is actually a 24-hour race car driver, or he was on a professional team. And I'm like, just when you think you've heard it all with 300 everyday athlete stories, you hear more.
It's crazy, dude. So before we start telling some of these crazy stories that we've heard recently, are you recovered from TRE? Because I have been reading more and more posts from people that have been flat out exhausted from TRE. It's going on a week now since the first day that we were there. And like, I need way more sleep than I would probably need even after from a 100 miler.
No, I can feel it in my legs. Like I took a couple of days off from running, obviously for stress and other reasons, but like I went on an easy run today and I was like, my legs feel like absolute lead, like I just, I've been napping, like sleeping, like I've been spacing out and just watching sports or just spacing out and staring at the wall. Cause I mean, it, like going out there and chatting with people and being part of that community is fun, but like, you're all conversation out by the end of it.
It's exhausting. It wipes you out. And this year was unbelievable. There were so many companies. There were so many people on the floor that were out there hanging out, and it was incredible. And I'm excited for next year already. And this thing just ended. The other thing I wanted to ask you is I had this thought this afternoon. Mantras. We've got tons of them for our company, which are like talk to everybody. Nobody's out of the realm of possibility for a conversation. Take risks and bet on yourself. Say it with your whole chest. If you think back over the last 11 months of this year, which of one of our mantras is the one that sticks out to you the most and is the one that you're like, I'm going to lean into this?
The one that sticks out to me that I've heard us speak to more recently is your story matters. Like we normally say your story matters, but what we added onto that was mind blowing to me. Your story matters because there's one of you. There's only one of you. And that was like everything for me because it's easy to say like your story matters. And oftentimes, like even in my experience, when I've said it because of my imposter syndrome or when I've received it, like I've always said, my story doesn't matter. So it feels like the response to the inevitable, oh, my story doesn't matter. So it's like I can see a conversation going, hey, we're Run Try Bike. Your story matters. Oh, my story doesn't matter. It does matter because there's only one of you. So it felt like it was a circle around everything. But that's my favorite one.
Yeah, that is definitely up there because I do think it resonates with our vision and mission. The one that stood out to me, and it's recency bias without a doubt, is talk to everybody. And for those of you who don't know, Ohm and I will talk to anybody and everybody about everything. And this came to fruition when we were leaving TRE, and which is why I say it's recency bias. We get in an Uber with a guy who moved to Austin, Texas from Kansas City, Missouri, because he met a girl while he was there. So he left Kansas City and moved to Austin for a girl that he met while he was there and bought a tract of land. I think he said it was 13 acres. And he decided to start a bee farm. And what he found out was that he was allergic to bees within like 30 minutes of having these bees on the bee farm and had to sell them all to then start a cattle ranch on that same piece of land. And he realized that he's not good at telling bulls from cows or steer. I don't know what female cows are called. This is my city upbringing. And, you know, he had to return them and everything else. And so he tells us this story, drops us off at the airport. We end up having lunch at the airport. And the guy sitting next to us turns out to be a musician comedian that is touring the country. You know, this year, next year, he's open for CeeLo. He's telling us these stories. He told us that his girlfriend looks like Post Malone with the tattoos everywhere. Like, it was unreal. He showed us a picture of him with Stormy Daniels in the news from like 2019 or something. Steven Glickman is his name. And he's like, hey, let me go follow you guys at Run Try Bike. And so we go check him out after he's followed us. And we're follow 1,000. He's only following 1,000 counts. We're one of them. And he's got like 315,000 followers or something. But the dude was hilarious. He was on my flight with Lori back to LA. I had to go to the restroom. I walked back there. And he totally passed out in the back of the plane sleeping because I'm sure he's been traveling the whole country. But this is why I say talk to everybody. Like, the stories that are out there are amazing. They are able to connect us on a human interest level, left, right, and center. And I couldn't be more thankful for the platform that we have built over the last 5 years to be able to just walk up to people and have conversations based on the fact that we have conversations with people.
It's incredible. And you know, as we look in the green room, I see Santino Williams there, and Joe Harden will be joining us shortly. But I wanted to add to that story that the conversation breaker there was the fact that we all sat in the same table with Steven at this like airport burger restaurant, and we all saw denim Santa Claus.
Yes.
Santa Claus in denim. Like, I don't even it is exactly what it sounds like.
He was in a full-length coat from shoulder to floor that was denim. It had the white fur all around it. He had a denim Santa hat on as well. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Ohm, but I believe he had a white beard too. Like, he had the whole Santa thing going. He was just in denim and not in a red suit, right?
He absolutely did.
It was incredible. I mean, that was just the tail end of TRE. I mean, by the way, the guy also told us in the Uber that he saw a full-on naked dude running down the street with just flip-flops, right? And the cops were right behind him and just drove right past the guy. They were like, yeah, we're not dealing with this at, Thursday afternoon, ready to go home kind of thing. We're not dealing with the naked guy running down the street in flip-flops.
Don't need that paperwork.
Dude, let's bring Santino on to the show. Let's have some laughs with this guy. This guy is awesome. What's up, brother?
Oh, not too much. Just sitting here enjoying your TRE experience, living vicariously through you guys with all the craziness.
Call me shocked, but you're wearing a Lakers lid and not a Dodgers lid.
Well, it's basketball season.
if you're a Laker fan, you are a Dodgers fan. So
this is true. Yeah, it's. Although I'll not to totally like hijack the conversation. When I lived in the Bay Area, and this was back before the Dubs were like good, It always blew my mind when you'd encounter a Giants and Lakers fan. It's like, how do you reconcile that? But,
Yeah, it's
I'll-
not quite. Oh, go ahead,
I
Jason.
was going to say, I'll answer that question for you because I'm from, and I am a Mets fan and a New York Giants football fan, which is never the case. It's typically New York Giants football and New York Yankees baseball, and then New York Mets and then New York Jets. But growing up in New York, the reason why I picked the Mets is because all my friends were Yankee fans, and it was a
Sure.
boring conversation. Look at how good these guys are. Look at how shitty these are. And so I decided to be a Mets fan so I could argue against them. Like when they were like, "Oh, the Yankees are the best," I'm like, "No, the Mets are better." I was born in 73, and so the Mets had went to the World Series in 73 and they won in 86. So as a 13-year-old, I was able to have a great argument with those guys.
Oh, for sure. All the way through what, about the 90s, you had that to hang your hat on, and then the Yankees just
100%.
kind of ran away with it.
It's been awful since.
Yeah.
I have to say, well, first off, I know why you're wearing the Laker hat. It's game day tonight. Can't wait to watch them crush the Suns and
Yes,
stay
sir.
undefeated in the NBA Cup. But I kind of also figured you were a hoops fan. Like I knew you were a baseball fan from the Meet the Everyday Athlete and the talk you had with Jason.
Mhm.
And then I saw that your tarantula was named Durantula, which
Yes.
is incredible.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, no, that's it.
Cool.
That had to be the name before we even got him. I'd say if we ever get a tarantula, it's going to be Kevin Durantula. And we just happened to be at the pet store one day getting I don't know, something for, we've got a whole menagerie here, getting food for one of the animals, and there was this tarantula. And I said, we got to bring this guy home. And so it was before we even picked him up. That was his name, Kevin Durantula.
It's so great. Durantula is the real ones know from Kevin Durant's OKC days. Like
Yep.
that was his name back in the day. There was Slim Reaper and the Durantula.
Slim Reaper.
Yep.
That's the one I remember, the Slim Reaper. We don't have anything about him from his burner account anymore, do we? Is he still running that thing?
Oh wait, is that was that really him though, or? Oh,
Look,
God.
man, if it's on the internet, it must be real, right?
I'd kind of forgotten about that, but yeah.
One of my favorite Kevin Durant quotes of all time, or sports athletes of all time, but it comes from Kevin Durant when he's like, "I'm Kevin Durant. Y'all know me. Google me." Like that is one of the best lines I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on. But he's a very quotable. I mean, you got a lot of quotable athletes in the NBA, but I'd say he's definitely top 5 of all time with the not an $85 player. That was one of my favorite ones when he was talking about raising the price of his shoes. Of course, you the real MVP. Come on, I have worn that so
Classic.
threadbare over the years. That's a classic. Yeah,
that's right up there with that's one of the crying memes and moments. That's right up there with like crying Jordan.
Oh yeah, big time, big time.
We're going to just do athlete quotes because I'm going to throw this one into the ring as one of the all-time best too. When Terrell Owens was asked a question, he goes, "I love me some me." Like that one is awesome.
T.O. was entertainment. That was his whole thing. I mean, obviously he was a very skilled athlete at his peak. I'm sure he can still get down, but through it all, he was just solid entertainment. That guy.
100%. I mean, I'm an old guy. So I'm 50 years old, so I got Iverson practice. That's an awesome quote.
Classic.
I got Herm Edwards. I don't know if you guys remember Herm Edwards on the NFL show, and he would like, "Don't press in. Fellas, don't press in."
You want to talk about? We're talking about great quotes. Let's flip it around and talk about Joe Buck. There's my favorite like Joe Buck thing ever, and it's funny that I say favorite, was when there's like this full run and he's just going Mitchell at the 10, Mitchell.
Santino, we're going to need you to give us something that you're thankful for through the first 11 months of this year so that we can make sure we're spreading holiday joy and cheer.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was thinking about this when you first posed the question, and it came to me right away. So this year, it's definitely been, kind of prioritizing the overall, not just fitness, but the journey in terms of, kind of claiming this title of athlete, which it still seems kind of weird to just kind of give myself that. But, and honestly, following you guys and, what you do to promote the everyday athletes, that's been huge in helping me kind of claim that for myself. But I'd say, the biggest thing for me with that is I'm very, very thankful for my support system. And, of course, have a really great family who, is very supportive of, me spending way too long training, spending way too much running in, various races, this and that, whatever. And it's like, yeah, go for it. But, even beyond that, we have kind of this little community here online of kind of like-minded in a similar age group, people just kind of out here doing our thing. And it's like, it's definitely, I don't want to say it's not for anything other than personal reasons, because I think we're all kind of going out. We're mainly challenging ourselves here at this stage in the game, yes. But, beyond that, it's just kind of, it's really cool to kind of see how so many like-minded people have kind of coalesced on IG, on Threads, wherever, where, we can kind of sit here and cheer each other on. And, I was following like Moab, you guys did a while ago. I was following you guys there, and it's like, this is so awesome to see the process, because it's not even something that necessarily would cross my radar, but it's cool to just kind of almost have a stake in the game where it's like, okay, I got somebody I'm rooting for here, and I can, follow the progress, whatever. So, I'm just kind of thankful for the overall kind of community support system that I myself, as just kind of the everyday athlete, have kind of available to me, which is awesome. That's really huge. I know, if you've been following my IG, I just did my first Spartan race over the weekend, and that's my sister's big thing. She does probably at least a dozen of them a year. And, when I had first signed up at the beginning of the year, it was like this real intimidating thing. And she's more of a coach, she definitely is a bit more no nonsense, but it was just kind of cool to have that aspect of it, where it's sort of the, obviously still family, but you're getting that kind of tough love, coaching. But then at the same time, I've got my wife, I've got my daughter, I've got, the online community where it's like, more confidence building. It's not necessarily like, oh, you better do this. It's, hey, you got this. And that's huge. It's good to have that kind of mix, I think.
So, for the people in the audience, were you or were you not paid to say thank you to Run, Try, Bike and the Everyday Athlete for putting this community together?
Oh my God. Wait, are people getting paid for this? No, I absolutely was not. But no, I do appreciate what you guys have here. I do like to, just check in, even if it's not jumping in. I try and jump in on lives when I can and, follow along, because it's really inspiring to hear other people's stories. But even still, you got your YouTube channel. I'm not necessarily a big podcast guy when I'm running, but on days when I walk, I'll listen to you guys on pods as well. So it's, it's awesome. It's really inspirational what you do. But yes, to everyone listening, I'm not getting paid to say this, unfortunately. These are my real feelings. So
you hear that, potential marketing partners? These are real feelings. The community is real.
Big time.
And here's the last thing before we let you go and bring Rose Scovel on. I know we talked about it on Threads a little bit earlier today, but I think I really want to get a fit check hashtag going for us runners, and you're going to have to be the captain of this ship.
Let's do it. You say less. I got you guys. Let's get fit check trending among the entire running community here.
I mean, we got music covered. We've got food covered. We have a probability that a travel show is going to be coming on here real soon. So we get some fit checks coming in. We're going to cover the gamut of endurance sports and athletes and everything in between.
Oh, we've got this. I'm your man. Come talk to me afterwards.
Yeah.
We will get this ball rolling like yesterday.
Santino, appreciate you, brother. Have a great holiday, and we'll see you on the internet here real soon.
Definitely see you then. Thank you guys both. It's been awesome.
Later.
Later.
All right, now we get to bring on one of our favorites who has been on numerous shows, interviewed with us for written word as well, and let's bring Rose Scoville to the show. Hey, Rose, how are you?
Hi, I am doing well. How are you guys doing?
Awesome. Before we even get started, congratulations on the new gig. You've been there for maybe a handful of days. How's it going so far?
Yeah, so I've been there a week and 2 days, and it's been great. Last week, um, hit the ground running and went to a steering committee meeting on Tuesday night. And then Wednesday did some project work before heading up to a 3-state conference. And that was great, but it was a pretty intense week. And then this week has been a little bit more digging into project work. A lot of people are on vacation this week. I'm working through tomorrow, and then we'll enjoy the holiday.
Good for
But
you.
it's great. It's been great.
I saw on LinkedIn the new company giving you a big shout out right out of the gate, that's got to make you feel pretty good, right?
It is. It's an interesting situation where I am working with, well, my managing partner is someone that I've worked with before 20 years ago, and someone that I've known
Wow.
nearly 30 years. But the whole firm's been great at welcoming me. And yeah, we did my headshots ahead of time because of the conference, and they had nice handouts with me on the team for the conference. And then they did that first day shout out. It was fantastic.
That is awesome. And I want to also say, like, one thing I want to point out that's very interesting, Jason, is that we had Santino on first and we had Rose on second, and that is the exact first two people who were to Meet the Everyday Athletes.
Oh, wow.
The Meet the Everyday Athlete series. And I thought that was incredible. Also, I just want to say, like, my conversation with Rose, which ended up being a conversation just between the two of us on the Fireside chat, was one of my favorite ones. And I just Rose has, like, I use this very loosely with contagious laughters, but Rose has one of the best laughs I've ever heard. Like, it's just
No, Jason has the best laugh.
Jason does, but I've heard Jason's a lot now.
Have you guys ever heard the story? I don't know if you may not have heard this, and Rose, you definitely not have heard this. So my very first 100 was the Lake Martin 100 in Alabama. And I was running with a couple of buddies, and they're telling jokes, and I am laughing at the top of my lungs because it's like mile 4. You have all the energy in the world.
You have too much energy.
Yeah, way too much energy. And there's a lady out there running, and she said to us, "Thank God I saw you guys in the daylight and heard that laughter, because if it was in the middle of the night and I heard that, I would have thought a pack of hyenas was running after me."
That's awesome. That is fantastic.
Shout out to my friend Kalaine. We still talk to this day on Twitter. It's been like 10 years since my first 100, and we still talk on Twitter, and that comes up often.
That's hilarious. That is a great running story. My first half Ironman, I had, so I was slow, but who cares? And I looked up, and there was four turkey vultures circling my head.
No.
And then, like, an ambulance was down at the end of the road, and I just kept thinking, I'm not dead yet.
Why are they already writing my obituary? What the heck?
So what do you think is worse, a turkey vulture or geese, Canadian geese? Because those little bastards are mean.
Okay, geese are mean bastards. The vultures mostly just, like, stay in the sky and can weird you out. Although there was, for a while, one of my guy friends who runs, his hair has been diminishing over the past 10 years or
What do you
so.
mean?
And he wasn't running with a hat, and apparently this I don't know if it was a vulture or something else, kept swooping in and picking at his head while he was running. And this is a guy that runs like sub 6:30, and you're like, damn. But no, the geese are terrifying, and we have a lot of them along the Central Canal towpath. And not only like are they aggressive, especially when they have nests and stuff, but then they're also like shitting on just everything.
Everywhere.
Everywhere, everything, and you're like, dude, stop.
So my father, when he was alive, played golf, and for those of you listening, played is in air quotes. And he was at the tee box, and he hit the drive, and it hit this Canadian goose right in the ribs, and the goose just looked at him like, "Are you fucking kidding me, dude?" And then kept moving. It was nuts. Like, as hard as that ball was hit, you would have thought like the bird would have died, right? But nope. He was like, "You got anything more than that, man? Because that's weak."
You know what cracks me up about that story is Canadian geese are mean, but the fact that it's in New York is it's a more straightforward geese.
Yeah.
I can just hear it with, I can just hear the voice like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like, you know, or like
he
a
pulled up
Boston
his-
geese would say, "I'm walking here," you know? What
He
the
pulled up
fuck?
his little webbed foot, and he's like, "Meow."
So the pigeons downtown, most of the time, most people ignore them, but we host every year the Future Farmers of America convention, which is like, I don't know, more than 10,000 FFA kids from across the country are downtown for a week or 5 days or whatever. And they're roaming around in their FFA jackets and whatever. And one year I saw some kid like trying to pick up an urban pigeon. And I was just like, that same
Nope.
thing. You can just imagine the bird going, "The fuck are you thinking?"
Rose, let us know what you're thankful for through the first 11 months of 2024 before we bring Joe Harden on.
Yep. 2024 has been a crazy year of change for me. I was just recovering from my fractured tibial plateau as the year started. And then I got RSV, and that was also no bueno. And then ended up making a lot of changes in my volunteering. And then I completely burnt out at work this summer. That led me to start having conversations. I had a couple of rough half marathons, but now in the past several weeks, I've gotten to a place where I was able to run all of my last 2 half marathons. Monumental was amazing. My friends and teammates and the entire running community in Indianapolis was tremendous as I finished my 100th half marathon. And, you know, started the new job, and life is good right now. And I'm very thankful for that.
Congratulations on Half Marathon 100. And also congratulations on getting your coaching business off the ground this year.
That also.
For those of you who are interested in a coach who is extremely smart about this stuff, who has helped a lot of people on Threads, because I see those posts, check out Rose Scoville. Go to her Instagram account, go to her Threads account. Like, seriously, if you're looking for a coach, this is the person to look at for triathlon and everything else, because she knows her shit.
Thank you, sir.
It's true. Like,
It's
you know,
true.
some people play in the sandbox, but you're building castles in that sandbox because you know what you're doing.
Because I've done it all myself, except for the whole crazy. I have not run more than 26.2 miles.
Smart on you.
Smart.
I mean, I've occasionally biked 112 miles first.
That's right.
Maybe not so smart. You can't get me in the bike.
Rose, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you on Threads. Have a happy holiday and a wonderful weekend.
You too. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.
Bye. Next up is our guy, Joe Harden, host of the Beyond the Finish Line podcast. I'm already laughing because I see him in the green room with this beanie on. So clearly it's ass cold in Indiana while I'm in SoCal and with this little hoodie on, I'm sweating. So
it's ass cold and he is channeling his Wu-Tang Clan right now.
Let's bring our guy on. What's up,
Oh,
man?
What's up? I didn't realize that you can see, like, I was like doing all this stuff in the back, like in the dark.
We can see everything that happens in the green
That
room.
is amazing. Like, I was like, I did like a whole routine. So that's amazing that you guys could see all that just unfold.
Maybe I need to stretch before our podcast shows. I'd be a better host.
Maybe I had to warm up for this one. No, I'm glad I get to make it. It is extremely cold. I think it was like 30 degrees. So I'm channeling my Jack Frost right now. So I'm glad I made it back. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it. I had to hand deliver some podium awards. You know, that's a whole lot of stuff to ship. So I actually drove those down and met the RD. So this is rad. I made it back in time.
Let the people know about what it is that you're doing. What are these awards?
Yeah, so it was podium awards for a gravel bike race for Dino Racing. I believe it's 100K gravel bike race on Saturday. And it was just like, you know, all the first, second, third place for it was like fixed gear, age group, and stuff like that. So it was a lot. So I didn't think UPS would want to ship that. So I actually met Josh at a halfway point and just handed it straight over to him. So it's rad that I made it back in time to join for this episode.
Man, shout out to also want to say shout out to Scott. He was not Scott. I was talking to Scott Sundberg, but shout out to Joshua Johnson, who's episode 16 of Beyond the Finish Line, which is our top 3 episode of the hundreds of episodes we have, and it was a fantastic conversation, which I say a lot about your show. So that, you know, that's
we met like this. We met like the sketchiest parking lot too. We're like, should we be here right now?
It was a drug deal, but it was race metals.
Wood, not weed.
It was a lumber. Hey, lumber was a commodity during COVID. Lumber's not cheap, you know.
It's not going to get any cheaper either, based on what we've seen in the political sphere today.
You might have lumber dealers soon.
Oh, that's nice.
You want this 4x4?
I got the finest. Birch panel.
You open the trunk of your car. There's all these 2x4s falling out. All right, dude. I need clarification. Is it Dino series or Dino series?
I guess it's Dino. So I've been saying it wrong too. And Josh even admittedly said, I think I said it wrong when he goes, I've worked for him for 5 years. It's like, okay. So I don't feel like a complete dipshit right now. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so not just me, because when I was on the show, before we started the show, I was like, I love dinosaurs. I love your name. And then he mentioned it was Dino in the show, and I felt so dumb. I was like, oh.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they use like a dinosaur in their logo. So I was like, all right, it makes sense to me. So
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
No, you're not crazy. No. I gotta remember that it's Dino from this point forward when next time we talk to Josh. And here's another question. You mentioned fixed gear bikes. Have you ever ridden a fixed gear bike?
I had so when I was like 14 years old, I worked my ass off for a complete summer to get a fixed gear dyno. Wow, that's weird. A dyno VFR bike. And I had it for 2 weeks and someone stole it off the front porch of my buddy's house. But so for 2 weeks I had a fixed gear bike, and it was awesome for the whole 2 weeks that I had that bike.
So Ohm and I had dinner at TRE with the owners of Seven Summit Snacks, and Jason is one of the owners, and he rides fixies, and he's a big bike racer. And we started talking about crit racing and how some, like in Red Hook, in Brooklyn, they have fixie crit racing, and you've got to be a crazy MFer to do that shit. Like, seriously.
Explain for people who don't know what crit racing is, what it is.
Yeah, so crit racing is on a closed course. It's a loop, give or take quarter to a half mile, and these guys are going as fast and as hard. And when I say guys, I also mean women. These athletes are going as fast and as hard as they can around these turns. They're leaning on each other. They're rubbing tires. Like it's bananas. Go to YouTube, and after you subscribe, rate and review our channel, search on YouTube for Red Hook Crit Cycling. And I'm telling you, you may never get on your bike again, because it is the scariest shit I've ever seen. And these athletes are balls to the wall from the moment the gun goes off to the finish. I've been to 2 crit races live. I've been to Tulsa Tough has crit racing, and Bike the Bricks in McKinney, Texas also has crit racing, which, by the way, is on like cobblestone, which is even crazier.
That's wild.
It's nuts. It is wild, and it is nuts. Have you ever seen that stuff, Joe? Have you ever watched crit racing?
No. I mean, I would like the Tour de France when they ride that. I can't remember what day it is when they ride the cobblestone there. That looks awful on those bikes, and they're like made for that stuff. So
yeah,
I couldn't imagine.
But those bikes have gears. Like the guys in Red Hook that are doing crit racing are on fixies, so they're going as hard as they can, right? Like no gear changing. If your legs or lactic acid is building up, like good luck on you.
Oh man. Well, that's what blew me away about Elliot. Like shout out to Elliot. He rode a fixed gear. I think he said across Mississippi or some random ass state like that, right? Yeah, he did. Like I thought that's
to all the Mississippians that are in our audience, we apologize for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that there are many mountains in Mississippi, so there's probably not a lot of like massive steep climbs there. So fixie probably isn't as horrible as it may seem. Like I know in northern Alabama, where I did my first 100-miler, plenty of climbing up there. Pinhoti 100 has plenty of climbing too. That I paced that. So I don't know if Mississippi has a lot of steep climbs, but being on a fixie in general, man, when you get tired and you can't change gears, like nothing gets easier.
Not at all. Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I'd probably be too old to ride one of those now. But when I was 16, I was all over town on that thing.
Well, you bike commute, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. Of course, I barely get out of like my third gear by the time I get to work. But yeah, I do bike commute.
We're about 11 months, getting ready to start the 12th month of this year. What are you thankful for, Joe?
Oh man, I don't know if I could pin it on. There's so many things. So obviously my family, something that's coming up, my sobriety. I'll have 5 years of sobriety December 1st next week. That's a big deal. So that ties me into my family. It's like I get to be present with them. I'll have another year of holidays where I wake up and remember holidays and get to be present. I'm thankful that I get to be a part of this. I'm a awkward dude with a stammer, and I host a podcast, which is wild. I get to run some pretty, really, really ridiculous amounts of miles that my body carries me through. I'm thankful for all those things, and all those things are because I said yes to scary stuff, and all that shit was scary. So, another holiday season, I'm baking a tofurkey right now. I guess I'm thankful for that. I found a pretty cool recipe. Let's see how that turns out. Hopefully, third year's a charm will knock this tofurkey out. But I'm actually making one for a coworker, so the pressure is really on this year. So
I saw the post earlier today. You got the weight on there, getting all the water out of the tofu. So do you then mold it, or is that bowl that it's in the mold already? Is it the shape of a turkey, or what are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm just gonna smash it down like an 8x4 pan and put some stuffing inside of it, and then kind of make like a loaf, I guess. Maybe next year I'll up my game and get like a turkey shaped mold or something. That'd be kind of cool.
I mean, you have the reasons, don't you? At the job you have, you could build a mold.
True.
HT Hardwood Designs, HT Turkey molds, all coming. Business.
Yeah, what shape do you want your tofu mold? I got
there you go. Hey, dude, is your mic plugged in?
Yeah.
Awesome, because Ohm's isn't. His is just decoration for the holidays.
Oh, that's amazing.
This thing does not work.
Okay. Oh, you got a Yeti too, don't you?
Screw you, Logitech. Also sponsor the show, Logitech.
Dude, appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And I am thankful for having you as part of the Run Try Bike family. The Beyond the Finish Line is a great show. You get great guests on. And I love the opportunity to produce it in the background and listen to the conversation before it even hits the airwaves because it's phenomenal. So thank you for doing everything that you do for the RTB community.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. It's awesome being a part of it.
You got it. Enjoy the rest of your week. Happy Thanksgiving and enjoy your
Thanks, man.
family.
You too.
Dude, this has been so much fun. Like, seriously, this has been so much fun.
They've all been amazing laughs and amazing stories. They all brought their own flavor, like with Santino, with sports. Like, Kevin Durantula, that's amazing. And just getting validation on the fact that Canadian geese are just assholes to everyone.
Even Nancy commented on Instagram about she called them the worst. And she said that they were indestructible after I told the story of my dad hitting one with the golf ball. Yeah, they're nasty little boogers, man. Like, they can go away.
Yeah, that was a good laugh. And just seeing Joe and the Beanie, like, channeling his Wu-Tang Clan was unexpected.
Dude, I got to tell you, I'm thankful for a lot of things. 2 years ago, you took a chance on joining the ownership group here with us, and you turned my mindset around 2 years ago when you came on board, and you took on a lot of tasks and things that I was drained and spent over. I've told people this before. I don't know that this company exists today if you didn't come on board when you did. That's how exhausted I was and frustrated and tired and all the negative words that you can use as a business owner. So thank you for joining us. Maybe that's 2 years too late. Should have told you on day one, but it still means something for me to tell you that today. I'm thankful for the opportunity that we have to engage the everyday athlete in conversations. And it's not just here in the US. While you and I were in the green room before we went live, we talked about the fact that we have had conversations in the last 48 hours with a person in Finland, a person in Edinburgh, I think you said, as well as in New Zealand or Australia. And then we hosted a show this morning with Craig from Running Tales, also in the UK. Man, like, I'm just so thankful that people have been able to connect with us, be a part of our community, and continue to watch it grow and flourish. And we say that we're the premier voice of the everyday athlete, but the people that are engaging with us are proving that we are the premier voice of the everyday athlete, because we have athletes who are going from taking their first steps in the running world to athletes racing 250, 300, 400 miles, to people doing Ironman events, to people doing marathon swims, Spartan races. The list goes on and on and on. So I'm beyond thankful for the community that keeps showing up for us. And I'm thankful to Lori for believing in this business 4 years ago and continues to believe in what we have the ability to accomplish. I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, I mean, picking up with thanking Lori, like, I'm thankful for the amazing group that we have. I wouldn't be able to do this without the two of you, and I'm sure the feeling's mutual. I think we've talked about this many times about not having to do it alone and how important it is to have a good, like, good ownership group where everybody complements each other with strengths and weaknesses, and how we constantly communicate every single day. And by communication, I don't mean this could have been an email. I mean, we literally just fucking text each other every single day about the business. And I'm thankful to our everyday athlete community. None of this would be possible without them. Like, the lifeblood of Run Try Bike is certainly people like Santino Williams, people like Rose Scoville, the Rose Scovilles of the world, the Santino Williams, the Nancys, the Joe Hardens. Like, this is a full-fledged community. of people that are engaging with each other, are having fun conversations about tarantulas and Canadian geese and mowing your lawn to metal music and just like it brings me to the next thing is that an extension of our community is I'm thankful to our writers and our creators, the people who consistently are open and vulnerable with us on by writing articles on our website, the Cheryl Barnes, the Brian Goldmans, the of course Joe Harden also writes for us. Thinking about Holly Sick, Kristen Jenny, thinking about I'm probably gonna miss a lot of names here. Dylan,
Dr. Erin, Dr. Irene,
Joanne. Big shout
Dylan
out
Roche,
to
Joanne Barbieri. We'll have articles from Coach PK coming out in December. Kimberly Valentine has been contributing for the last couple of months as well. Yeah, the list goes on and on and on. Jackie Hendrickson at the beginning part of this year, and she was with us for a very long time, providing nutrition advice. Jenna Brown is going to be providing nutrition advice for us as well for the next 3 or 4 months, I believe. Yeah, it's amazing how many people are showing up.
Absolutely. And I want to thank our podcast creators, without whom the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network wouldn't be possible. It was a conversation that we had earlier on in the year. It's coming up on a year since we adopted the Restream software and switched out from Instagram Live. I think it's been exactly a year. I believe we launched it in January when we started testing it out, A/B testing it, and we've come a long way since then, figuring it out and going from what was 2 shows back in the day to picking up Running Tales to now having 8 shows. With Lori obviously hosting a show, with both of us hosting shows and co-hosting shows, Joe Harden with Beyond the Finish Line, Craig Lewis with Running Tales being our ambassador across the pond, our Adam Lee with Food Fight Friday at the aid station. Shout out to Community Trail Running being a amazing Canada presence for us. Ultra Birch, Mr. Evan Birch for helping us bring to life the idea of Enduring Minds, a show that has gotten reception that I cannot even put into words. Like the commentary we have gotten on that is incredible, and that's a whole nother conversation. But like none of the 8 shows we have right now would be possible without our amazing creators. So that's all the things that I'm thankful for, and obviously thankful to continue to, and obviously like Joe said, to echo him, thankful to be able to continue to do these sports, because at the core of everything, like these sports are fun, and I'm so glad to be able to do them and to be able to run and do a march step. We finish, we dance, and thankful for pineapple on pizza.
Oh, good grief. I thought we were going to get through this whole show without that shit.
Oh, come on. We can't get through it with that. We can't get through any fireside chat without it.
And now we have to add Stevie Smith's topic to the conversation too, which is dill pickles on pizza.
I might actually try that, honestly, and send her I might tag her in that, because I've become more of a fan of white sauce pizzas now, so might as well try it with dill pickle.
We do a lot of white sauce pizza here because of Lori's tomato allergy, but yeah, it's white pizza, but I just can't get behind the idea of putting pickles on it. Like I just had pickles for lunch with a burger I made, so the idea of putting that on pizza is not doesn't sound good. Let's put it that way. And by the way, thank you to all the people who come on our Fireside Chat and our Fiery Ember show and deal with my completely nonsensical questions about food. You guys lean into it with your whole chest. You get into the answers. Emily Holland's reaction to the red velvet cake was top notch. Adam Ruska at Goes Health, his reaction to the red velvet cake question was top notch. I cannot thank you guys enough for participating with these questions and just having fun with it all around.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen it all on this show, and I feel like we have a lot more to see on this show specifically, but also some of our other shows. And I'm just excited for all the amazing moments we're going to have in both the last month of this year, but also in 2025. Like, I'm excited for all the potential conversations we're going to have and all the people we'll bring back who have already been on our show, because we'd love to see where you're all part of our community, and we love to see where everyone's at and keep up with their events and what's going on with their lives, because it's literally it is one big community. It is.
So when I started this business, and we're going to end on this note, when I started this business, the idea was to prove that there is a spot at the starting line for everybody and every body. That was the vision and mission from day one. And we've been chasing that vision and mission since then, and we will continue to chase that. And the reason why we have all of these shows is because different things mean different things to different people. If you like food, we've got a food show for you. If you like music, we've got a music show for you. We have the ridiculous We Finish, We Dance, where people are now dancing after their runs wherever they are and just having fun with it. You heard earlier today me joking around with Santino about doing a fit check for runners, and let's get that going and let's have fun with a fit check. And we've got sports psychology experts here. We've got nutrition experts here. We've got coaches and their expertise here. We've got something for everybody within the Run, Try, Bike ecosystem and the Everyday Athlete Podcast Network. So if you're finding us for the first time, welcome. Congratulations on being a part of the community, and go find something that resonates with you and then enjoy it and smile and laugh, because that's what we're here for. Endurance sports are hard. We don't need to make them any harder. Brother, I really appreciate you. I appreciate your time on this show and your contributions to the ownership group of the company. Any parting words from you before we sign off until next Tuesday?
Nothing much, except if there's even the slightest belief that like you should take a chance on your story or take a chance on anything, do it. Take the chance. We're here to help you make that leap. And none of this would be happening right now if I didn't take a chance on telling my story. Oh gosh, almost it'll be 4 years ago in March, when I submitted one of the very first How It All Started. It's a story I've told a few times, but those of you who are new to the community might not know that was my first introduction to Run, Try, Bike, and Jason. And he was one of the first people to take a chance on my story. And now I want to bring the same thing to all the other hundreds of stories that we were going to tell over time. And just say yes to scary things, as it was mentioned earlier in the chat.
With that being said, thank you for listening. Enjoy your holidays, and we are out.